CBS has made a difficult but potentially very smart decision with the expansion of the NCIS franchise, and that choice could give its newest series, NCIS, New York, an unusually strong chance of succeeding. The franchise has already proven that it can survive major cast changes, shifting audiences, and even the departures of some of its most recognizable stars. Now CBS is taking another significant step by placing NCIS, New York directly into an all-NCIS Tuesday night lineup, giving the new show something many brand-new network dramas struggle to obtain, an established audience waiting nearby. CBS has announced that NCIS, New York will premiere in fall 2026 at 9 p.m., positioned between the flagship NCIS at 8 p.m. and NCIS, Origins at 10 p.m. That scheduling decision may look simple, but it represents one of the biggest reasons the new series could have a smoother launch than a completely unrelated drama. Rather than asking viewers to discover an unfamiliar show on their own, CBS is effectively building an entire night around the same universe. The strategy makes sense because NCIS is no longer simply one successful television drama. It has become a global franchise with multiple series, recurring characters, established mythology, and a loyal audience. CBS News recently highlighted the extraordinary longevity of the franchise, noting that the original series reached its 500th episode during its 23rd season and remains the centerpiece of a franchise that has grown into multiple shows. That history gives NCIS, New York an advantage before its first episode even airs. The most important part of CBS's decision is therefore not simply creating another NCIS spinoff. It is the way the network is positioning that spinoff. New network shows frequently face a difficult battle. They must introduce characters, establish a world, convince viewers to care, and compete against programs that already have years of audience loyalty. NCIS, New York does not have to start completely from zero. Its connection to the larger franchise immediately gives viewers a reason to be curious. The presence of LL Cool J as Sam Hanna is especially important because he is already a familiar face to longtime NCIS viewers. Sam Hanna became closely associated with NCIS, Los Angeles, and after that series ended, LL Cool J continued appearing within the broader franchise. His return for NCIS, New York gives the new series a recognizable lead rather than asking audiences to build an emotional connection with an entirely unknown protagonist. Recent reporting confirms that LL Cool J is returning as Sam Hanna for the new spin-off and that filming has already begun. That continuity could prove extremely valuable. Another major advantage is the location. Moving the franchise to New York gives CBS an opportunity to make the series feel different without abandoning what audiences already love about NCIS. The original series has a Washington-centered identity, while previous spin-offs explored locations such as Los Angeles, Hawaii, and Sydney. New York offers a completely different environment, with a distinctive visual identity and countless possibilities for stories involving military personnel, federal investigations, international connections, and the city's enormous range of communities and institutions. The key will be balancing familiarity with freshness. If NCIS, New York feels exactly like another version of the flagship series, viewers may wonder why they should watch it. But if it becomes too different, some fans may feel that the NCIS identity has been lost. CBS's decision to surround it with established NCIS programming gives the new show room to experiment while still benefiting from the franchise name. The Tuesday night strategy may ultimately be the most important part of the equation. CBS has explicitly described its 2026-2027 schedule as an expansion of the NCIS franchise, with the flagship series at 8 p.m., NCIS, New York at 9 p.m., and NCIS, Origins at 10 p.m. This creates what television programmers often hope for, a natural audience flow. Someone who tunes in for NCIS does not have to make a major decision about what to watch next. The next program belongs to the same universe. Viewers who enjoy NCIS, New York then have another reason to remain on the network for NCIS Origins. In other words, CBS is not merely launching a show, it is creating a destination. That could be especially important in an era when viewers have more entertainment choices than ever. CBS's difficult decision can also be understood in the context of how the network has handled the NCIS franchise over the years. The network has repeatedly had to decide whether a familiar formula still has enough life left in it. Instead of abandoning the franchise when individual series ended, CBS continued experimenting with new settings and new characters. Some ideas worked, while others did not move forward. The history of NCIS, Red, for example, shows that CBS has not automatically approved every potential spinoff. The planned series was developed after the NCIS Los Angeles backdoor pilot episodes but ultimately did not receive a full series order. That history makes the decision to move ahead with NCIS New York more meaningful. CBS has had years of experience determining which concepts can plausibly expand the franchise. There is also an important lesson in the success of the original NCIS. Familiarity does not necessarily mean stagnation. The show itself began as a spin-off of JAG, yet it eventually became much larger than the series from which it originated. CBS News has pointed out that NCIS itself started as a spin-off and initially struggled before becoming one of television's most durable franchises. That history provides an interesting precedent for NCIS New York. A new series may begin as an extension of an existing brand, but that does not mean it cannot eventually develop an identity of its own. The timing is also favorable. CBS has renewed the flagship NCIS for Season 24 and NCIS Origins for Season 3, while NCIS Sydney is also returning for another season. This demonstrates that CBS is not treating the franchise as a single aging program. Instead, the network is building a larger ecosystem around it. The addition of NCIS New York gives the franchise another geographical and narrative dimension. If the new series succeeds, CBS could potentially use it as another long-term pillar rather than simply a temporary replacement for a canceled program. The return of familiar franchise talent could strengthen that strategy even further. LL Cool J has already demonstrated a willingness to continue portraying Sam Hanna in different corners of the NCIS universe. His continued involvement gives the franchise an important bridge between different eras. For longtime viewers, seeing Sam again can create nostalgia. For newer viewers, the character can serve as an introduction to a larger world. That combination is difficult for an entirely new drama to achieve. A completely original show has to establish its history from scratch, while NCIS New York can use the history of the franchise as part of its foundation. At the same time, CBS has to be careful. The decision to put 3 NCIS programs together is powerful, but it also carries risks. Viewers may become tired if every series feels interchangeable. The success of NCIS New York will depend on whether it can offer something distinctive. The New York setting needs to matter. The characters need to have their own relationships, personalities, conflicts, and emotional journeys. The cases should feel connected to the unique environment rather than simply being stories that could have taken place anywhere. Most importantly, Sam Hanna needs to feel like a natural part of this new world rather than a character transported from another show simply because the franchise needed a familiar face. The network's decision therefore appears to be a calculated risk rather than a guarantee of success. CBS is giving the new show a powerful launchpad, but the series itself still has to earn the audience. Even the strongest franchise name cannot make viewers stay if the storytelling fails to connect. Fortunately, the NCIS formula has historically been flexible enough to support different characters and locations. The combination of investigation, teamwork, humor, action, personal relationships, and military-related cases can be adapted to different settings without completely losing its identity. That flexibility may be one of the biggest reasons CBS continues to believe in the franchise. Another reason the new series is positioned well is the strength of the overall CBS schedule. The network has described its 2026-2027 lineup as a combination of established hits, franchise expansion, new original programs, and major live programming. That means NCIS, New York is being introduced within a broader strategy rather than in isolation. CBS is attempting to build nights around recognizable brands while also introducing new material. For NCIS, New York, this is particularly valuable because the program is being given an immediate relationship with two established shows. There is also a streaming component to consider. The modern television audience does not necessarily watch programs exactly when they air. Viewers can discover shows later through streaming and catch up on previous episodes. That gives a franchise like NCIS an additional advantage because its large library allows new viewers to explore its history. Someone discovering Sam Hanna through NCIS, New York could become interested in his earlier appearances. Similarly, a viewer who starts with NCIS Origins might eventually explore the flagship series. The franchise can therefore work as a network of entry points rather than a single straight line. Ultimately, CBS's difficult decision may prove successful because the network has chosen not to treat NCIS New York like a conventional new drama. It is launching the show as part of an established television ecosystem. The 8 p.m. NCIS, 9 p.m. NCIS New York, and 10 p.m. NCIS Origins lineup creates a clear identity for Tuesday nights, while LL Cool J's return provides an immediate connection to the franchise's past. The new New York setting, meanwhile, gives the series an opportunity to establish a fresh personality. The real test will come once audiences can judge the series on its own. A familiar franchise can attract attention, but only strong characters and compelling stories can turn that attention into long-term loyalty. CBS appears to understand that distinction. Its decision is difficult because expanding a successful franchise always carries the possibility of overexposure, but it is also logical because NCIS has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to reinvent itself. With the original series continuing into season 24, NCIS Origins returning for a third season, and NCIS Sydney also continuing, the franchise is clearly still an important part of CBS's strategy. If NCIS New York succeeds, the decision could become one of CBS's smartest franchise moves in years. It could prove that an established television universe does not have to remain trapped in the past. Instead, it can use familiar characters and ideas as a foundation for new stories. The combination of a recognizable star, a fresh city, a carefully chosen time slot, and two established NCIS programs surrounding it gives the series a strong starting position. CBS has taken the difficult step of betting even more heavily on a franchise that has already survived decades of television changes. Now the challenge belongs to NCIS New York. If it delivers the right balance of familiarity and originality, CBS may discover that its difficult decision was exactly the decision the franchise needed.